Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Murray. We have a fun topic here today because even as a pediatrician, I certainly don't know what I'm doing all the time as mom to my 5-year-old daughter, and so I turn to my friends, I turn to other resources, and I thought who better to turn to today than Deanna King. She's a former news reporter, so she might be a familiar face to some of you, but she's also a blogger extraordinaire. She's a mom blogger, and you can find her at cynicalmother.com. Welcome.
You forgot, you left out that I am also the recipient of the #1 mom mug.
There you go, you got the #1 mom.
I have
not received that. I have not received that. Lucky you.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so I have a blog,
Yeah.
and I write a lot about parenting stories.
Okay.
Because I think nowadays, different than our parents. Like our parents, when you wanted to get advice, you had to, get out the rotary phone, and if you hit the wrong number, you had to start over again.
That's right. Yeah.
Or get out the encyclopedia, and if you didn't get the end of the sale,
my mom,
at
let's
the grocery
go look it up. Let's look it up.
Right.
Yeah.
And my parents actually missed the whole. They had the sale at the grocery store.
Oh no! So
and they only got to letter
M?
J. So after J, we were done. We could not get anything else. So we're lucky because we have, the internets, as former President Bush said, the internets, so that we can turn to. And there are so many websites like nowadays that you can go to. Babbel.com is one of them. It has a lot of good parenting articles. Parents.com, parenting.com, and you can just get, I think general information to kind of figure out like, okay, when do I start potty training?
Right.
How do I teach my kid to, tie their shoes?
Right.
Or you could just buy Velcro until they're 20, and then they'll Velcro again when they're 80.
That's
so
right.
it
That's
works out.
It's a circle of life.
Those things, obviously you can't take everything you read.
Sure.
Because as a pediatrician, you go to WebMD. I mean, I would be dead by now if I followed everything that's on WebMD.
Yeah, and then also if you went to like Joe's House of Parenting, who knows who Joe is and what that information is all about. You can read tons of scary stuff, and just because it's on the internet doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So I usually recommend that you go to a site that's been vetted in some way, meaning it's associated with an agency or has some credibility to it, not just necessarily a person giving what seems like factual information. And then parents and friends and grandparents are great for kind of give me some strategies of how do I do this task? What worked well for you?
Right, and I found it's good for parents. Go to Facebook, Twitter. If you're still from the early 2000s, go to MySpace.
Yeah. Does that still work?
Right, I think so.
Okay.
And then put out, this is happening with my, my child. Do you have any advice? I mean, we don't want to have the person who's posting a rash every other day.
Right,
that's
TMI.
Gross. And
that's gross. Yeah.
Right, we don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But, put out there, this happened to my child, what did you do? Or, my son's eye looks a little red. Is this something I should take him to the doctor for? That kind of thing. I find to have social media and to be able to instantly reach people is amazing. There's no more, you don't have to write letters to magazines. All these magazines are on the internet, and there's so many great things you could do. And I really find the parent blogs. I mean, I left TV, started a mom blog just to kind of vent, because I think when you become a parent, all these things happen and you think, you're a freak.
Right, because you all of a sudden had to leave your cart in the grocery store when you have a child that's turned into Jell-O and is screaming and losing their mind.
That wiggle thing, that that is like a superpower in its own, that they turn into a wet noodle and you can't get them out of the store. Right. And you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm failing miserably because it seems like everything I'm doing is wrong. Like my daughter, we're late to school because her outfit didn't look like a giraffe, and I should have known that. But these are the things that I write about. You hear these stories, and it kind of you can relate. And you're like, you know what? Okay, this happens to all of us.
Right.
And it's,
knowing that it's normal is really nice.
It is, and I think it's one of those things where it also even makes you a better parent because you don't beat yourself up because you had that moment where you were screaming to the point where you were spitting. You lost your cool in a good and not in a horrible way, but in a way that's normal. That you were screaming and you had that regret after of feeling like a horrible parent. But sometimes it's good to look at it with a little humor.
Exactly.
And that's what I think. The mom blogs. There's my blog, Cynical Mother. There's Scary Mommy, and there's all of these parents that have come together, almost like this little cult we have that we share stories
Get us
online.
through the hardest part of our life, right?
Right.
Make sure that we all live through parenting, because it is the hardest job any of us are ever going to have.
It is.
And then having 3 children like you do, spanning from kindergarten to the dreaded teen years.
I suck at family planning. We have the 5-year-old and the soon-to-be 15-year-old, so I have it all covered.
You mean the 15-year-old's not helping babysit the 5-year-old?
Isn't that shocking?
No, really?
I thought for sure I would have a built-in nanny there, but no, I don't.
All right, so cynicalmother.com recipient.com. That's a great site. I read it. I laugh along with it. I also like healthychildren.org. That's the site from the American Academy of Pediatrics, so you know information coming from there is great. Are there others that you turn to that you like a lot?
I mean, I read Babbel.com a lot, and there's a lot of, I don't like to go to the sites that I feel like makes everything political. I don't want to necessarily be told this is right or this is wrong, but just given information. So, there's a lot of, even you can go to the big TV shows, the Today Show, Good Morning America, they have separate sites on parenting where you can just get basic information and not feel like you're like a horrible person because you didn't breastfeed your child, or I give my child Doritos for breakfast on Friday.
Every once in a while, you gotta do
that
it.
Powder, that's cheese, right?
That's right. There's dairy in there somewhere. And I'm finding too that lots of pediatricians' offices actually are on Facebook or on Twitter too, so you can follow along with your own doctor's office, which is nice.
Right, and even ask questions.
Exactly. So lots of information out there. Thank you for joining us today. This was fun to chat with you. Thanks for joining us, everyone.